So when's Schnorr coming?
So a couple days ago, Peter Wola published a draft for a BIP for a pair of things called Taproot and TapScript. And these together comprise a definition of SegWit v1 outputs that we are proposing. And this is a culmination of work over the last year and a bit, depending how you measure it, or the last 5 years, depending. Like there are different ways you can think about where we started here. So I'm going to say Taproot. Taproot started with a conversation that Greg Maxwell and Peter Wola and I had in a diner in California in January of 2008. So a little bit over a year from when we really started working.
2018.
2018.
Yeah, 2008.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Wow. I've been revealing Satoshi all over the place here.
This was the original Satoshi meeting.
Yeah, exactly. This must be what it feels like to be Craig Wright. Like you answer every question with whoops and Satoshi, and then.
So 2018 then?
Yeah, 2018. Yes.
Did you go boating that day?
Not. There were no boats involved. I don't want to say how far away from the ocean we were, because privacy.
Yeah. Okay.
So this V1 SegWit output proposal, I guess, called Taproot, is the upgrade to Bitcoin that I expect will be the one to bring Schnorr signatures to Bitcoin. Because alongside Schnorr signatures, it brings a whole host of other cool benefits that I'll talk about in a moment. And so we published a draft for a BIP a couple days ago. And the draft right now is going through a bunch of revisions. A lot of people replied to us on the Bitcoin development mailing list. A lot of people replied to us in private and on IRC and stuff. So we're getting a lot of feedback from stakeholders, and the draft is changing and evolving in response to that. So it's impossible to put dates on these kind of consensus actions, but I'm going to make up a bunch of numbers for you because people like made up dates. And I'm going to say that there's going to be a couple months probably of this kind of iteration and changes to the draft and revisions and so forth. And then we'll finally settle down into a fairly concrete proposal. And that's what will eventually be assigned a BIP number. And being assigned a BIP number is basically a way of saying this is a coherent, finished proposal. It does not say this is going to be deployed. It does not say anybody likes it. It does not mean anybody's going to use it. It just says, as an author, you say it's, kind of complete and coherent, and it's probably not going to change too much. And so once we have a BIP number, then there will be a bunch of work done on integration and actually writing. I guess alongside having a BIP number, there will be a bunch of integration type code, and then there will be a whole ton of QA cycles related to that, probably 6 or 12 months of just regular software QA. And in parallel to that, there needs to be a community discussion about, do we want to accept this BIP? Do we want this BIP to be part of the Bitcoin protocol? And if so, how do we deploy that? What is the deployment mechanism that will be used? Should we try to use the BIP 8, where you have basically technologically giving miners a veto, not politically, although we have in the past miners believed that they did in fact have a veto, and then there was a tremendous amount of controversy and political shenanigans related to that. Will we try to use that? Will we use BIP 9? Will we use some sort of user activated soft fork, which is actually, to be clear, all soft forks are ultimately user activated, of course. But by having miner signaling, you reduce the chances that you're going to have a chain of invalid blocks appearing that miners are producing, and perhaps some old validators who haven't upgraded will see that as valid, and that can cause quite a bit of chaos and confusion. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but that needs to be shaken out, and it wouldn't surprise me if we have 6 or 12 months of argument just on that. And then maybe if everything goes well and this lands on we really want this and we want to deploy it and the community is all gung-ho and let's actually deploy it, then we will actually do the deployment. And that requires an actual upgrade mechanism, that requires some sort of date in the future, some block height in the future, at which point this will become active. And that itself will probably be 6 or 12 months after everyone agrees that it should be deployed.
Next up, I talked to Andrew more about some of the exciting tech upgrades coming to Bitcoin, but before